I literally haven't prepared for this at all. Oh my god. These two books are so good. Oh no, there's two that are really, really good. Okay. This man is just like, I think I know what it is in my heart of hearts. Is like The Prophecy from Taylor Swift, but if that ended happily. I'm really proud of myself because I showed self-restraint in that moment. Definitely Kingdom of Ash because I just don't want to cry. I really hate this framing, I really do. Maybe I need to move you guys closer. I feel like that's is it a little bit cuter? I actually can't tell. Okay, we're just gonna do it because this is temporary. It's not my permanent setup and I have to stop being so hard on myself and not everything has to be perfect. Anyway, hi guys, welcome back. I haven't done a bookish video in such a long time, so here we are today in front of my bookshelf. So today is a fun one. I didn't know what I wanted to film next, and I didn't want to just film another reading wrap up because A, it's halfway through the month, and B, I just wanted to do something different because that's all I've been doing for my reading and book videos. I was watching YouTube the other day and one of my inspirations for my bookish videos is Rachel Catherine, or Rach Reads, and I just love her content, it's so good. So I saw a video by Rachel which was basically like a 6-month reading update, but instead of just going through all the books that she's read, it's like a reading tab, so there's like really fun questions. So I thought that'd be a fun thing to do together today because I have read a few books this year so far. Definitely not as much as her, but I thought it would be fun to go through a few questions and yeah, see what jumps out. I literally haven't prepared for this at all, so let me get the questions up. So the first question is the best book you've read so far in 2024. So let's have a look at what I've read. Oh, I think I know what it is in my heart of hearts, but let's just see what I've given 5 stars, I guess. So I gave House of Earth and Blood 5 stars, up there somewhere. I gave Every Summer After, also got 5 stars. Empire of Storms got 5 stars. Serpent and the Wings of Night got 5 stars. Oh, there were so many good books. And The 7-Year Slip got 5 stars. And A Curse of True Love got 5 stars. I think The 7-Year Slip or Serpent and the Wings of Night. These two books are so good. I can't even put it into words how much I love these books. They're very, very different books and I love them for very different reasons. So 7 Year Slip by Ashley Poston, I believe. It's the only book I've ever read by her. I do want to read her other books. I know she's just come out with one and she also has The Dead Romantics, which is the one she wrote before this one, I believe. This is basically like a magical realism book and it's set in New York City and it basically follows a girl, Clementine, whose aunt has passed away and she has inherited her aunt's apartment in New York City. She is like going through a bit of a midlife crisis, which we love. She happens to waltz into this apartment one time and notice that everything is a little bit changed and a little bit different and she's like, oh, this is a bit weird. And then she runs into, what is his name? Gosh, what is his name? I'm so bad with names. Ewan. His name is Ewan. This was a whole thing. I don't know how. I've literally blocked this out of my memory because this caused me so much grief because I couldn't pronounce his name. It's Ewan. Anyway, so she runs into Ewan and then she realizes Ewan is 7 years in her past in this apartment. So the apartment has this magical quality where it can take you 7 years in the past or 7 years in the future, hence the book title, 7 Year Slip. And it's just about grief and loss and love and how things change as time goes by. Like, it's just the perfect book. This book made me cry so many times. I annotated the absolute heck out of it. It's just the perfect book. It's perfect. There's nothing that she could have done differently. I love it and I highly encourage you read it. So that's why that one got 5 stars. And then The Serpent and the Wings of Night, I don't have as much to say about it. It is a fantasy book and it's based on vampires and it is one of the more original fantasy books that I've read. There has been a boom in like YA fantasy recently and I found it really hard to get into because I feel like a lot of it feels too young for me as a 28-year-old. But this did not feel too young. This felt like fantasy, not young adult fantasy, if that makes sense. But it was also romantasy, which I loved. And the male main character in this is the perfect book boyfriend you will ever meet. I love him and I've just started reading the second one, which is The Ashes and the Starcursed King, I think. All of her names are a mouthful, so I don't even know why she does that, but it's just so good. I don't even know what to say. You just have to read it. It's 5 stars. So next question. Ooh, best sequel you've read so far in 2024. I think I already know which book oh no, there's 2 that are really, really good. Okay, The Ballad of Never After, loved this book. And then we also have Powerful. So I guess this is a sequel, technically, whereas this is a novella. So maybe this is not a sequel, but I did love them both equally. Definitely read this if you haven't. This has like reignited my love for Lauren Roberts' writing. I wasn't a huge fan of Powerless, but this made me so excited for Reckless to come out, and that's coming out super soon. So I probably will film a reading vlog for that, but definitely read this if you haven't. But we're not gonna count it in this question because I'm a stickler for rules and it said sequel, not novella. So this book, if you guys remember, because I did do a reading vlog on me reading, I think it was as many books as I could read in a weekend or something like that. And I picked this one. This series, I don't even know. I've had a journey with this series. It's been a roller coaster. The first book, the Once Upon a Broken Heart, I was like, oh, this is interesting, but I feel like they're just flying through this way too quickly and we're not getting as much character development or even just like insight into how the characters are feeling as I would like. I was like, oh, I don't know. I guess I'll pick up the second book, not too sure. But it was a very interesting concept and a lot of fairy tale-isms. I liked it, but I wasn't like sold on it. And then I read this book, and specifically like the last fourth of this book, I want to say like the last quarter. If you know, you know. Like if you've read this, you know it just like traumatizes you. It makes you sob. It literally ends and then it just keeps going. And you're like, what do you mean it ends, but it just keeps going? It's just crazy. This book specifically made me fall in love with this series. And then that's what led to the third one, A Curse of True Love, getting 5 stars. I think I gave this 4.5 star. I don't remember. Next question is, new release you haven't read yet, but you want to. Ooh. Probably When the Moon Hatched, I believe was released recently. It's new, but it's not like new, if that makes sense, but it is on my list. No, it was published in 2024, so this did come out this year, so I guess that does count. I really do want to read this book. So this book my sister's reading currently and she really likes it, but it is very complicated. Like there's a whole new language in this book, whole new set of species and creatures, and even time is different in this world than it is in real life. There's like a different time element. I am excited, but I'm a little bit nervous because it's a chunker. It's a book that's gonna make me use my brain, and you've got to be in a certain mood for that. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Probably Reckless, to be honest. The third book in the Powerless series. I don't know how many books there are gonna be. My cat will not stop meowing, and if I let him in here, he's gonna go rogue. So we're going to ignore that. Oh my God. He's actually driving me crazy. Okay. And that comes out soon, so I feel like I don't know if that really counts as the second half of the year, but we're going to because I don't remember anything off the top of my head. That comes out at the end of the year, so we're gonna go with that. Biggest surprise, I can say, I know I've already spoken about this a little bit, but it is a really great book, and if you haven't read this yet, or you were a bit on the fence about Lauren Roberts' writing or Powerless and how you thought the series was going to progress, I definitely recommend picking this up because it's such a short read. I feel like her writing has developed so much, even from Powerless to this, so definitely give it a go. Okay, next question is, favorite new author, debut, or new to you? Let's have a look at my list because I'm actually not sure with this one. I feel like for it to be a new author and like really fit the category of this question, it has to be an author that I've read multiple books of, maybe. I feel like maybe Elsie Silver. I feel like I really got into her this year. I haven't picked up one of her books in a while. I still have 1 or 2 of the Chestnut Springs series to read. I just haven't really been in a romance mood, so I haven't picked them up. But I did really love her writing. It's so easy to read. If you want just like an easy small town romance, interconnected standalone series, that was a big mouthful, then I definitely recommend her. I haven't had a chance to read Wild Love yet. I've heard mixed opinions, so that's why I haven't picked it up, but I do really want to read it. With Elsie Silver's writing, even if the first book in the interconnected standalone series isn't your favorite, the series just builds from there and you get so much character development with like all the side characters and things like that. You just see them all progress as characters and it's just so good. She's really like the best interconnected standalone small town romance writer ever. So definitely her. Newest fictional crush. Oh my gosh, that's so hard. I actually think it would have to be Rain from The Serpent and the Wings of Night. This man is just like, there was a scene in this book, and if you've read it, you know. And I was just like, I'm blushing from this man in this book. So yeah, it would have to be Rain from Serpent and the Wings of Night. Newest fictional crush, book that made you cry. I'm gonna try to pick a different book, not one that I've already spoken about. What other book made me cry? Let me see, because I do write notes on my phone as well, so I'm sure. Funny Story by Emily Henry. I read that this year as well. I'm not gonna get it out because it is sitting right there, but that book definitely made me cry. There was a lot of content in the book that I related to a little too much for my liking, and I didn't want to feel that exposed when I was reading it, but it did make me cry, so I guess that counts towards that question. Book that made you happy. I think it has to be the third book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, because this ending is just, it's perfect. I love it. It just wraps everything up. It makes me happy. It's like this series, if you're a Taylor Swift lover, is like The Prophecy from Taylor Swift, but if that ended happily. It's just perfect. Like Invisible String cross The Prophecy. That is this book series. So definitely love that. And I just enjoyed reading it. I was saying when I was reading that one in my reading vlog that like, it's not often that you're reading a book and you're like actually not wanting it to end and you were so just like immersed in the book. A lot of the time for me, I'm just like not trying to get through, like I'm not enjoying it, like I am, but like I've really got to keep, like motivation is a hard thing for me when it comes to reading. Even though I'm enjoying it, I do have to like be like, okay, read up to here and then you can close it kind of thing. Whereas that was the first series in a really long time where I was like, I just want to read really slowly and enjoy this book for what it is because it's the last book in the series. So definitely that one. Most beautiful book you've bought this year. Ooh. I feel like my Caraval series is really beautiful, isn't it? Like the spines are so cute, and I haven't read any of these yet, but like it's a trilogy that just like looks aesthetically pleasing on my shelf as well. So I'm very, very glad to have it. That definitely counts, I think. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? Well, definitely the Caraval series. I would love to read these by the end of the year. When the Moon Hatched and the second book in the Serpent and the Wings of Night series. What else do I want to read? I want to finish the Elsie Silver books in the Chestnut Spring series. I really need to read Iron Flame. I don't know why I'm not reading it, but I really do need to read it. I need to finish off the Sarah J Maas Throne of Glass series. I've got one book left. I'm up to Kingdom of Ash, so I need to read that this year. And I need to finish the Crescent City trilogy as well. As you can tell, I am on my fantasy train at the moment, but I have a lot of series that are unfinished. So that's definitely the priority for me. There's some extra questions I thought I'd go through as well. What books do you want to reread this year? I'm not a huge rereader because I feel like, I don't know if this is just me, but like it takes me so long to get through my TBR anyway. If I add rereading a book to it, like I'm just never going to finish anything. So I don't think I'm actually going to reread anything this year. Favorite author so far this year? I feel like Stephanie Garber at the moment because I'm just really loving her writing, which is wild to me because I started off the book by really not loving her writing. Well, the series, I should say, by really not loving her writing, but I do really love it now. So, books you've been putting off. That's a great question, definitely. I feel like I've answered this a little bit already, but definitely Kingdom of Ash because I just don't want to cry. And I feel like that book is going to make me cry and I'm not ready for that. So definitely that one. And Iron Flame, I guess, is the other one. I've been putting that one off. I got it for my birthday last year, which was in November, and I still haven't read it, and it's June. That's like 8 months it's just been sitting there. So that one definitely needs to be read. Yeah, I'm definitely on the book buying ban now. I was at the shops today and I was so tempted to buy the rest of the Emily Henry book. So You and Me on Vacation and Beach Read, because I haven't read either of those two. But I told myself, no, I've got so many books on my bookshelf that I have to read before I get to those ones. And then I also saw the other Ashley Poston book, The Dead Romantics, and I really wanted that one as well, but I didn't. I'm really proud of myself because I showed self-restraint in that moment. So I'm gonna get to the other books that I need to get to. That's just the long and short of it. Anyway, moving swiftly along. A book you enjoyed with mixed reviews. Every Summer After, maybe? I loved this book. I know a lot of people who read this book and were like, yeah, it was fine or it was okay, but I really loved it. I think this is just like quintessential summer reading. Teenager, coming of age, like it's the perfect book, I think. I really, really loved it. And it's like a then and now timeline, so you're not just feeling like it's all teenagery. It's like they're adults, but then they meet again, and then it explores how they met when they were kids. I think this is the perfect book, and I know a lot of people who didn't like it, which I think is just a bit weird, so I think that's a them problem. Do you think you'll reach your reading goal? Are you going to change it? So my reading goal this year was 50 books, and that might seem like a small number for a booktuber because Other people read like 100 to 200 books. And I'm like, how do you have the time? Like, I have a full-time job. I'm training for a half marathon. I'm trying not to get burnt out. Like, when am I going to be reading? I mean, reading helps you not get burnt out, but I just don't want it to feel like a chore as well. So let's see what I'm currently at. 19, 20, 21, 22. I've read 22 books, so I think I could get there. I just need to hustle, honestly, because some of these months have been a little bit abysmal. Like, between January and Feb, I only read 5 books. So we've just got to do better. And I've got time, I just need to make time to do it. You know what I mean? So anyway, thank you so much for listening to me talk about books for probably hours on end at this point. If you guys enjoyed this, let me know. Obviously, this is a little bit different to what I usually do, but I do really enjoy filming bookish related videos. So I'd love to know if you guys enjoy it too, and if you've read any of the books that I have spoken about today. Next time you see me, I'm hoping I'll get a new bookshelf and a new setup behind me. I'm just not really vibing with this, but it's okay. I'm gonna be changing it though. And I probably will also have new hair because I'm going lighter yet again. I literally have gone from like black, like the blackest of black hair, to hopefully like a caramelly dark blonde. That's the plan. Don't even know if it'll suit me, but we will see. Anyway, you guys have a lovely day and I will chat to you in the next video. Bye.